The patients were in Dr. Christopher Duntsch's hands, most of them for routine procedures, but still, several of them woke up after the surgery with permanent injuries, and 2 of them didn't wake up at all. Petty theft usually doesn't end up in the news. But when Christopher Duntsch tried to leave a store with goods for $900 in a shopping cart, it became a joke in the Dallas area. This was Texas's most notorious neurosurgeon, who tried to roll out of Walmart without paying. The Texas Observer put the title, "Sociopath Surgeon Arrested for Pants Theft," and published a photo taken during the arrest. A picture of a slightly tired man in his 40s. One of the people who reacted to the picture was Surgeon Randall Kirby. He had been present at one of Duntsch's operations and understood that the man was a danger to his patients. Kirby and another colleague, Robert Henderson, were a big driving force as to why Duntsch's career came to an end after more than 2 years in different hospitals in Dallas. But at that time, Duntsch had already been able to cause a lot of harm to the patients in his care. The patients had become paralyzed or lost the ability to speak, or at least suffered with some permanent injuries. In one of the newspaper articles about the scandal, he was named Dr. Death. All the patients I interviewed tell us that the first thing Dr. Duntsch said to them when they first met was that he was the best surgeon in Dallas, says Robert Henderson. The story begins in a suburb of Memphis, where Christopher grows up in a middle-class neighborhood. He is the son of a physiotherapist and a teacher, and shows high ambitions from an early age, both in studies and on the football field. Friends from his childhood described him as a guy who never quits and keeps it moving. He is admitted to a medical school in Tennessee and is, among other things, responsible for part of the research carried out on stem cells. Here the young Duntsch shows great skill in raising money for business and entrepreneurship. He starts 2 companies that have potential in the pharmaceutical market. These include patents on revolutionary techniques for treating back pain. At the same time, he trains to be a neurosurgeon. Christopher Duntsch radiates self-confidence and, by all judgment, has reason for it. But even though he is ambitious, he's not a goody two-shoes. A former girlfriend recalls a birthday party with alcohol, LSD, and cocaine that lasts all night. In the morning, Dr. Duntsch goes to work and goes around as if nothing had happened. Friends who have invested in the company take notice over Christopher's drinking and partying habits is starting to affect the revenue of the company, because he is using a lot of the income on this, and in the end, the company dies completely. Duntsch is forced to step down and pursue a career as a practicing surgeon. That was, according to acquaintances afterwards, probably not the plan. But because he's a neurosurgeon, his services are highly sought after. He gets job offers from New York and San Diego, but chooses Dallas and a job that pays $600,000 a year. His resume was impeccable. Chris is very intelligent and probably the hardest working neurosurgeon I have ever met, a professor writes in a letter of recommendation. His only disadvantage was that he could take on too much work. In July 2011, he settled in Dallas and started working. Neurosurgeons are the stars and cash cows for hospitals. They can collect millions of dollars a year. Dr. Duntsch was aware of his position and not shy to express his unique qualities. There were even rumors that he would sit on advertising signs around Dallas as the new star of the town. One of the first to get under Duntsch's knife is his old football teammate Jerry Summers. Summers had back pain after a car accident several years prior. Now his friend is a surgeon who's going to help him get rid of that. When Summers wakes up after the surgery, he is paralyzed in both of his arms and legs. His vertebral artery has been damaged during the surgery, and he has lost 2 liters of blood. As a result, the hospital is suspending Duntsch from service for a month. When Duntsch returns to duty, Kelly Martin, 55, is waiting for surgery. Here too is a routine procedure that goes wrong. So wrong that she's bleeding in intensive care afterwards. A surgeon, Dr. Hoyle, who works with Duntsch, is surprised at how careless the colleague is. He's doing surgery on Leo Passmore, a 35-year-old man suffering from back pain. It's a routine procedure. Surgeon Hoyle opens up an incision for Duntsch to work in. When he sees how carelessly his colleague digs between nerves and blood vessels, finally, he had enough and just had to stop him. Hoyle refuses to work with Duntsch after that. The rumors of Duntsch botched surgeries started to spread rapidly. It was also said that the doctor has a bottle of vodka under his desk, and also rumors about bags of suspicious white powder on his toilet. But even though there are rumors of both drug use and messy surgeries, Duntsch can work on it. For 2 years he worked for 4 different employers in the Dallas district. In retrospect, it should be noted that the bad references he should have received did not come to light because the hospitals only provided some information about the surgeon. But more doctors other than Hoyle reacted to Duntsch's work. Among others, Robert Henderson, who was called in to perform surgeries on patients that Duntsch failed with. He was shocked. It's incisions that are done in the wrong place, screws that sit in random places, nerves that are damaged, and material from the surgery that is left in the patients. It's obviously an amateur who's doing all of this, or even a fraud. While Henderson digs into Duntsch's past, Dr. Randall Kirby is also beginning to dig. They discover that the patients who Dr. Duntsch worked on were almost all injured during the operations. 2 patients, Kelly Martin, 55, and Floella Brown, 63, even died. Despite the fact that Duntsch had a lot of serious accusations about his work in 2012, it wasn't until June 2013 when his medical license was revoked. Although many patients have obviously been injured, and there was plenty of evidence that Duntsch is a bad and even life-threatening surgeon, at the time it was still very hard to hold hospitals in Texas responsible. According to the law, the prosecutor must be able to prove that there was a malicious intention behind the injury. So even though Duntsch lost his doctor's license and his job, he's still a free man. His patients, those who are left alive, are just going to have to get over it. In the newspaper, they can read about how their doctor, who has now moved home to his parents, got a DUI and that petty theft that was mentioned earlier, among other things. But in 2015, Christopher Duntsch was charged with several cases of aggravated assault of 6 patients. According to the prosecution, the surgeon's scalpel and hands were deadly weapons. He acted like a serial killer, said prosecutor Michelle Shergart. During the 2017 negotiations, heartbreaking testimony from the affected patients came forward. Some walk with a cane, others in a wheelchair. Here are young mothers who can no longer play with their children and men who have lost their wives. Dr. Duntsch, who has been confident even in prison, denies the accusations. He says it is just operations that have gone wrong. But when the testimony about the injuries comes in while an expert shows how the operations really are supposed to go, he becomes less confident. He has destroyed their lives and inflicted constant pain on each of them, a woman stated. Duntsch himself gives no explanation. What makes an incompetent professional allowed to continue when it is obvious that his mistakes are even deadly and killing? The jury announced its verdict in February 2017, life in prison. I will not get my mother back, but it means some kind of justice for all the victims and their families, says Kelly Martin's daughter, Caitlin Martin Linduff. When looking at the case of Christopher Duntsch, it really makes you wonder. How can he be so confident in what he was doing? Surely there must have been some doubt that crossed his mind when he was operating. Should I cut here or should I cut there? Should I get this or should I get that? Seeing their bodies in front of him, all in his care. Also seeing them take their last breath and knowing you're the one who is responsible. Did he ever feel some guilt for it? It doesn't seem like it. In fact, it seems like for the longest time he thought he could do no wrong. Thank you for watching this video. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and also subscribe for more. See you next time. Bye.